Yo, it's D.Arthur in the building. I'm talking to you guys today about knowing the power of your magnetism when you go on semen retention journey. Your retention journey. Know the power of your magnetism. What tends to happen? What type of benefits do you start getting when you go on semen retention for more than a month? Now, we have some like people who say semen retention is good up to a point. It's good up to a point, like you can go on it, but there's a certain amount of days where you can go on it, and then you pretty much have to cut it off. Like if you go for 3 weeks, then you might have to cut it off. You might have to relapse because they're saying that there's too much they might have too much testosterone in them and they can't control it, and then they say like you become needy. And this is true for the majority of the population, but if you know how to transmute properly, then this will not be a problem for you. You have to use that energy that you have harnessed over the period of time, and it has to go throughout your entire body. You have to use it properly. The problem with that is, if you're on semen retention and you just feel like it might be too much and you can't control it, what needs to happen, all of that pent up ejaculate that is in your, let's say, nutsack, needs to be expressed throughout your entire body. It needs to go through the back of your head. It needs to go through your brain. It needs to go through your arms. And you just have to express it so you're a fully enlightened being on this reality. And that starts with meditation, because you can finally transmute that energy that you have harnessed in your nutsack, and it can be finally fully expressed. It can be finally fully expressed throughout your entire body. And this is when you have reached a certain level that is very dangerous. You're enlightened. All the BS that you start realizing you had before, there's no need for it anymore. All of the BS that you thought you had to entertain, you no longer need it anymore. Start realizing you're a divine being. You're a spiritual being having a physical experience. So you start acting like it. You start tolerating a lot less. Start being who you want to be. You start being the person that you dreamt to be. Your physical, you start realizing that your mindsets, whatever you harnessed, whatever you believe, has to be fully expressed. It has to be fully expressed by the person that you are, by your assets that you've acquired, by the things that you picked up, by the material possessions that you got. Everything that you really believe, everything that you're really into, has to be expressed fully through you. We live for the mind, the body, and the soul. You can't live for one and not have the other. So every single thing that you are attracted to has to be fully manifested. And semen retention finally gives you the right to fully have the manifestations of the things that you want. Because the thing is, it's more than just a feeling. Semen retention is more than just feeling a certain type of way, feeling quote unquote like you can't control yourself. You have to use this energy to your 100% benefit. We have I don't want to say the word. We have so many people who just think that just because you're on seed retention and a lot of pent up ejaculate has been conserved throughout the entire, they need to bust one. They need to give them 5 minutes of pleasure to bust one, and then they're actually missing out, because you have to realize that the more you harness this, the better your life gets. And this has nothing to do with external factors. Every single thing stays the same externally, but the thing is just that your mindset has changed. What you tolerate has changed. Your attitude has changed. You're no longer in a fear consciousness. You're no longer paranoid about things. You never take things to heart. You start realizing that you might be entitled to the best things in life. You might be entitled to the best quality assets. You might be entitled to the best high quality maybe woman. You might be entitled to the material positions that you want. There is a tie between you and the life that you want. You start becoming entitled instead of thinking that the things that you want are not connected. Everything is connected. So you have to realize the power of your magnetism on this seed retention journey. The number one thing is your life just gets easier. And like I said, it has nothing to do with your life, with your external life getting easier. It has everything to do with your mindset, what you tolerate, your vibration, your mood, how many excuses you give yourself, and if you're the victim or not. Because the number one way to get really, really successful is to never be the victim, regardless of what it is, regardless of how unfair life may seem. If you never blame anybody else except for yourself, then you can take everything for you. Your whole life is a byproduct of your will or your lack thereof. So I mean, you can, and also, like I said, you also care less. Maybe maybe there was something in the past. Maybe maybe you got did wrong by somebody, or something didn't work out that you really want. And we've all been there. Something you thought was going to work out never really worked out. Maybe something that you really wanted to happen just never really panned out. When you go on seed retention, you can finally cope with the things that didn't really pan out. You finally start caring less. And the funny thing is, the less you need, the less you care, the more you're attracting everything. You're attracting everything. This is how the law of attraction works. You give a thought of something, you first might care, you start doing things to try to get it to you, and it doesn't happen, and then you just forget about it, you don't need it anymore, and then boom, it appears magically into your life. Know the power of your magnetism. You are a powerful being. Every single thing that you're habitually entertaining, you're calling into your life, whether you know it or not. So the best thing you can do is to put your attention on the best. To dwell on things that you're unsatisfied with is to become inferior. To dwell on things that you want in your life is to align yourself with your highest self, your highest purpose. Also, like I said, another thing that happens on the power of your magnetism, you're on your retention journey, is people might hit you back up. People that you might have known maybe in the past, people that you might know in your present. They might hit you back up. They might be asking, like, what are you up to? How's your life going? And there's a reason for this, because finally, the thing is, when the key to this is to get to the point where you're so okay with yourself, like you're very happy with your current situation, with your present, with the way you're feeling, the way you're impacting, the way you're going about your business, that you don't care as much about the things that maybe didn't happen for you. You're writing a new story for yourself. This is the most powerful thing that you can do. You're a creator. You're creating a new story for yourself. And the more you stick to the story, and the more this story starts becoming more real, the less you need from other people, the less you need from the past, the less things that you need to make you feel better. Because you're living on natural dopamine. You're making dopamine your natural state of being. You're making a high vibration your natural state of being. And when you're living in a high state of life, a higher vibration, more things that you are attracted to start to come into your life. More things that you like starts to appear in your life. This is the Most High blessing you for living a righteous and happy life. This is the Most High blessing you for living a gratitude-filled life. This is the Most High blessing you for not needing anything else except for Him. You are not your material possessions. You are already enough. You don't need anything else to make you feel complete. You are already complete. And now all of those things that you want are just being added to you because you are already complete. This is the difference. If you think you need something, you will never get it. If you think you need somebody, you will never get it. Because if you need somebody else, that means a part of you has a void that they're missing. You need something else to complete you. And if you need somebody else to complete you, it will never work out the way you really want it to. So the best thing you can do is be 100% complete with yourself, not need anything, and then let all of the things come to you that you'll be attracted to. This is the laws of the universe. This is quantum physics. You start realizing that if you're in a very bad mood, you start realizing that people might treat you bad. People might just start yelling at you. If you're at a job and you have to deal with customers, they might just be angry at you for some reason. There's like attracts like, cause and effect. The more you're in a bad state of mood, in a lower vibration, the more you're attracting lower vibrational situations and circumstances to come into your life. So the best thing for you to do is to never get too up and down in your mood. You have to stay stagnant in how you act. You have to live in a high vibration regardless of everything else. And the best way to live in a higher vibration and stay in a high vibration is to meditate, to go and see retention, to drink plenty of water, to pray, and to just be grateful for every single thing. Because the more grateful you are for things that you have now, the more things will be added onto you. This is the laws of the universe. This is how the world works. So like I said, anybody who wants to say that, oh, when you go past 3 weeks, it gets a little too much and you're a little bit too needy, that's just some weak talk, bro. Like you have to start realizing that this is more than just you feeling a certain way. This is getting you to the point where you're an enlightened being on this reality. Every single thing that comes up to you, you might have a better explanation as to why it's happening. This is the bottom line. You're becoming an enlightened being on this reality. You're returning to your true self. This is because you're finally true. You're doing things that are true to yourself instead of true to your body. Instead of true to your ego, because people like to live through their ego. If they're living through their ego, they're never going to be truly happy, because the ego's of the flesh. You have to live through your soul. You have to do things that make your soul sing. You can't let your ego control your life, because if your ego controls your life, it's going to be temporary. You might feel good in that moment, but there's always going to be some sort of void that you're never going to be complete with. And you're always going to do other things to fill that void. You're always going to need other people's validation. You're always going to need somebody else to make you feel better. You need someone else to say yes. You're never fully walking into who you really are. You're never really walking into who you really are. You need somebody else's validation to make you feel better about yourself. This is the bottom line. So I mean, you can really take your life by the horns and really do something with it, or you can live in quiet desperation. Emerson said, the vast majority of men are living in quiet resignation. So, I mean, you choose what type of life you want it to be. No more excuses, just keep going. Peace.